All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Campton Hills Corporate Authorities. It is June 9th, 2026 at, what have you got?
7:03.
7:03. Roll call, please.
Trustee Benetti?
Here.
Trustee Boatner?
Here.
Trustee Burson is absent. Trustee Hassenberger?
Here.
Trustee Millette is absent. Trustee Muir?
Here.
President Wojnicki?
Present. All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Kim, do you want to lead us? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Beautiful. We'll do Mark first.
Yeah.
Say. Okay, we'll move on to public comment. We have a proclamation for Mr. Whitaker, and Mark Rooney, who's a veteran, an Army veteran, is going to read it.
There we go. Yes, this is for Mr. Whitaker, who is turned already, or June 13th, he'll be 100 years old. So Mr. Whitaker was born on June 13th, 1926 in New York City. And Mr. Whitaker is the son of Frank and Lucy Whitaker and their only child. After the passing of his beloved wife Nancy of 60 years, Mr. Whitaker moved to Campton Hills in 2018 to reside with his daughter and son-in-law Mark and Susan Keller. Mr. Whitaker proudly served his country in the Army during World War II and attained the rank of sergeant. Mr. Whitaker then served as the Director of Public Affairs for the Union League Club of Chicago and played a leadership role in the club's support of the nuclear fast-attack submarine christening of the USS Chicago via the formation of the 721 Club, and was also the Secretary of the Armed Forces Council of Chicago. Mr. Whitaker also served as one of the founders of the Great Lakes Naval Museum in 1991. And Mr. Whitaker piloted numerous submarine launches and dives from Hawaii and throughout the commissioning and decommissioning of the USS Chicago. He interacted with many admirals, generals, captains, crew members, and their families in this endeavor. Mr. Whitaker has also met and supported numerous presidents of the United States throughout his lifetime. And Mr. Whitaker has had the distinct honor of laying a wreath at the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. during his public ceremonies. And for more than 36,500 days, Mr. Whitaker has enriched the lives of those around him and through his dedicated service and his friendship and his enduring spirit. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the President and the Village Board of the Village of Campton Hills proudly recognize and celebrate the 100th birthday of Mr. Whitaker, a cherished father, father-in-law, grandfather, veteran, community leader, and friend to all, and extended their heartfelt congratulations as he is commemorating his extraordinary milestone on June 13th, 2026, surrounded by the love of his family and friends.
I'm going to grab, I need to read that on Saturday night, so. I promise you'll get it. Thank you, Mark. Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Dave
do you
Patzel.
want to speak now? Okay.
Good evening. For the record, my name is David Patzel, P-A-T-Z-E-L-T, 77 North First Street, Geneva, Illinois, 60134. There's actually three items that I wanted to speak on this evening. Items 8A and 8B, I would suggest that perhaps those are under discussion, that I hold my comments until those items are in discussion, and if you would allow me to speak at that time on those items. I do want to comment on a consent agenda item 5F. And I wasn't aware that this item was on the agenda until today, but I thought it is important that I do speak on that item since it does reference or is in regard to the Shodine organization, of which I'm the president of the Shodine Group and have been an employee there for over 32 years. The first item I'd like to publicly state and hopefully set for the record, there's been comments and I'll say comments and suggestions, and perhaps whether it's social media or just people at large have asked or made comments that J.M. Rooney Consulting was perhaps paid by Shodine or associated with Shodine or an investor with Shodine or under contract or some other means that there is a correlation between J.M. Rooney and the Shodine organizations. And I can assure you that that is not the case. I personally requested our accounting department to run a search through our computer system to see if a Mark Rooney or a J.M. Rooney or anything associated with Rooney was ever paid or contracted with the Shodine organization, and they came up negative. I can also tell you personally that I did not know Mark Rooney or anybody from J.M. Rooney Consulting Group prior to coming to the village of Campton Hills. So hopefully that is clear for the record that there is no correlation to that organization and our organization. I understand that Mr. Rooney his, I'll call it a contract, is up with the village, and there is perhaps an extension or a revision to his contract. I do note that the hourly rate that he will be charging is drastically increasing. We do not have any objection to that, knowing that and understanding that two different items. One, that the number of hours are coming to a close soon with the RDA, the redevelopment agreement for the LaFox Campton Hills project coming before the village board here in the coming weeks. And so my understanding is that his work will be limited to that with our organization, and therefore we don't have an objection to that hourly rate. I would suggest or encourage, if at all still possible, that in the memo prepared by Attorney Forte, that it indicated that the term for the Rooney contract runs from June 3rd, 2026 through April 30th, 2027. I would ask or encourage an edit to that that may include something to the effect of the contract run from June 3rd, 2026 through the earlier of approval of the RDA or April 30th, 2027. So that it is then clear to us that once the RDA is approved, that at least the services associated with Shodine would be no longer from Attorney Rooney. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you hearing me out on those comments, and look forward to discussing items 8A and 8B when those items come up for discussion. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Anything to be removed from the consent agenda? Therese?
So I'm going to remove A only because I wasn't here, so I just don't want to have a positive vote on that.
5A?
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
5A, and then 5C.
I'm sorry, 5C?
Mm-hmm. And then, so 5F, because I think we need to discuss that. And then 5G, because whatever we talk about in 5F might affect 5G.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I'll accept a motion to move the consent agenda with the exception of 5A, 5C, 5F, and 5G.
So moved.
Moved by Therese.
Second.
Second by Frank. Roll call.
Trustee Hassenberger?
Aye.
Trustee Benetti?
Aye.
Trustee Boatner?
Aye.
Trustee Burson is absent. Trustee Millet?
Aye.
Trustee Muir?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right, well, 5A,
My only comment is I just wanted it to not be on consent because I wasn't here, so I have not had a chance to look at the video, so I don't really feel like I should be approving minutes.
Okay.
So I'm sure they'll pass with everybody else here, and I'm just going to abstain when it comes around to me.
okay. Any more discussion on 5A? Okay, anybody want to move that forward?
I'll make a motion to
Okay.
approve the minutes from May 26th, 2026, Village Board Special Meeting.
Okay. Second by Nick. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Benetti?
Aye.
Trustee Boatner?
Aye.
Trustee Hassenberger?
Abstain?
Trustee Millet?
Aye.
Trustee Muir?
Aye.
Okay. We'll move on to 5C, and Therese.
Okay, you all know my argument on this, and I'm just going to do it because I'm here in person. And really, I've talked to most of the trustees. You know, my thing is just like procedure and making sure we're doing things the right way. I think that the end result on this would have been the same, but I still think procedure matters. And I'm pulling from paying, but I'm sure it will get approved, just the J.M. Rooney payment, I guess, for June. I'm not quite sure what the dates are, but is this for this last 2 weeks?
May, the end of May.
Yeah.
1st of June.
Okay. And my reason is this, and like I said, I sent out a memo to everybody on this already, but, you know, we initially contracted with Mr. Rooney in November of '23. There were a few amendments after that. There was a third amendment that applies most recently dated 12/16/25, and that has a section 5A that talks about termination. I'll get to that in a second. And then Mr. Rooney emailed us on 4/7/26, where he attached a letter saying that Mark Rooney, on J.M. Rooney Consulting, Inc. letterhead, that he was giving his 30-day notice of terminating the contract. I noticed that he was still in the office after that date, so I questioned that, and I asked why he was still here. And it was explained to me by our village attorney that, according to his letter, it says on April 21st, 2026, the corporate authorities in closed session communicated to Mr. Rooney their interest in JMR continuing services, and that he agreed during that meeting on behalf of JMRC. And on May 6, 2026, JMRC confirmed the resulting modification in writing and revised the resignation date to May 29th, 2026. This was all done in closed session, and the confirmation and the extension was all done in closed session. There was no open session confirmation of this by the corporate authorities. And in my opinion, there should have been, and I think there was time to do it. So I don't know why we didn't just do it. And I think he would have had the votes. But it wasn't done. And so I questioned that because we all know that closed session, you can't do any kind of final action in closed session. So whether Mr. Rooney either did or did not receive some sort of mandate or confirmation in closed session, which, by the way, I'm going to just mention, I don't think it was April 21st, because I don't think we had closed session that day. I think it was actually the 29th, I believe, or the 28th, one of those 2 days. So all that needed to happen is if he did get direction, we can say what we want in closed session, but we still need to go into public session and reconfirm. And so I raised that issue because we've had that come up before. And then secondly, I disagree because I do believe that 4/7/26 letter absolutely constituted a valid 30-day notice under this contract. So yes, under regular law, you can extend a contract, or you can invalidate a termination, you can extend it, you can do whatever with agreement of the parties. So who are the parties to this contract? The village and J.M. Rooney Consulting. And so who's the village? That's us, the corporate authorities. So we should have had an opportunity then in open session. Like I said, it would have gone through. I just think we need to start following procedure. So no disrespect to you, President Winicki, but you're alone. You acted alone with this and said that you would allow the renewal. Apparently, there was some sort of document signed or modification signed. I've never seen it. I don't know if any of the other trustees have seen it. I think it's important that we see that. But either way, we still needed the corporate authorities to approve that extension. And then afterwards, I brought it up when the first payment came on a warrant, and I mentioned all these things. I said, I wish you guys would wait and pay him after we get it approved properly. We could have retroactively paid him also because he did the work, but I was just asking for the process to be done properly. I believe, like I said, that one of the responses from our village attorney said that there was no open session. Let me read the exact language. He said that there was no open session vote was required because the legal modification allegedly occurred through JMRC revising its own resignation rather than through a formal board notice. I just don't think that that's accurate, because that notice did turn into a valid 30-day notice of termination. We could take it as such. And it was approved also. The notice of resignation was actually acknowledged and approved by our president. So I'm just asking that hopefully going forward, we start doing things a little bit more by procedure and doing it the right way. Because I know that there are other things, and I know if President Winicki did it on her own, there would be a lot of discussion about things if she wasn't, she didn't have the authority to do it on her own. And in this case, I firmly believe she did not. Having said all that, we will approve this payment today because he did do the work. But I would like to in the future just see that we follow procedure a little bit more accurately. I think it's better for all of us. We all protect ourselves as well by doing things the right way. So then I will make a motion to go ahead and approve paying the warrant. So improve paying warrant 2703.
Okay, do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, Kim seconds. Roll call?
Trustee Hassenberger?
Aye.
Trustee Muir?
Aye.
Trustee Benetti?
Aye.
Trustee Boatner?
Aye.
Trustee Millet?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. We'll move to 5F. Do I have a motion?
Oh, that's me again.
Okay.
So I guess it's,
Need a
Dave is
motion
still
for
here.
Need a
discussion.
Yes, a
motion?
motion to to just not approve it until we discuss.
To discuss? Do I-
Motion is to approve, we need a second for discussion.
I'll second.
Okay, second by Frank. Okay,
So I think Dave answered our questions. I had talked to some of the other trustees about the rate, and so as long as, and I think we just got your confirmation on the public record, so I think that's good, that's fine with me. And then I think what we'll need to talk about is just the term of this agreement, because I know it sounds like there's some agreement to go to 4/30/27. It also sounds like there's maybe an idea of we get the RDA approved first, and it sounds like Dave will agree to that as well, that would be the end of the contract. I would prefer to see like a date a little bit sooner than 4/30, because I think there'd be something massively wrong if it takes us to 4/30. That's 10 months from now to get the RDA approved. But if you feel more comfortable leaving it that long, giving us 10 months,
I think you should say when the RDA is approved at this board, that terminates my,
do we have an estimated time of how long that might take?
in July, I would hope it would be approved by this board, and
So if we did 3 months,
I think you
just say RDA approved.
RDA.
Okay, that's fine with me too.
I agree with KDOT and the RDA are finalized by this body.
That works for me as well. I also wanted to mention that will there be a transition period then also with Mr. Rooney to then get the new administrator up to speed, so that the new administrator will be taking over some of these duties and we'll kind of resume what we were doing before, or is that not something that's contemplated?
I will
I can-
give my, let Carmen answer.
Right, so just the scope of services exhibit did include a line item for transition assistance, as the board had requested when we developed this engagement, or an idea of this engagement. So that would include that, a reasonable time period for that, for a new village administrator to get up to speed on the current project, as briefed by Mr. Rooney. And the term that was included in here was to the end of the current village president's term with reasonable right to terminate. But we can definitely make the change to link it to the completion of the RDA. I'll send that to the clerk.
Okay, then that's all, that's my comments.
Okay, Mike?
Then I would move to amend the motion on the floor to make changes to the draft as presented for a term where it currently reads, "The term of this agreement shall commence on June 3rd, 2026, and shall expire on April 30th, 2027, unless earlier terminated or provided herein." I would recommend adding, "and shall expire on April 30th, 2027, or upon the adoption of the redevelopment agreement and intergovernmental agreement with Kane County," and then keep "unless either terminated," because there's still potential we would want to potentially, I use that in this twice in the same sentence,
Okay.
change
Just
that.
One recommendation, do we do it to 6.9 though now? Because 6.3 was the other meeting.
Right, it was drafted prior to the
Right, it was
last
drafted for the
meeting.
last
So
meeting.
it will be updated.
Okay, I would
to
accept that
today.
as also,
Okay.
so
Yep.
then that would be my motion to amend with that and the other.
Okay, do I have a second on Mike's motion?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Therese. Any more discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Millet?
Aye.
Trustee Hassenberger?
Aye.
Trustee Benetti?
Aye.
Trustee Boatner?
Aye.
Trustee Meir?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. We'll go on to 5G.
That was just the amendment, Madam President.
Oh,
Yeah.
We got to go to the original motion now.
oh, I'm sorry, thank you, Mike. Okay, a motion to pass 5F.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Therese. Do I
No,
have a
the
second?
motion's on the floor. We don't have to redo.
Yeah.
There was a motion on the floor. We amended said motion. The motion's already on the floor. You just call the roll on the amended motion.
Okay, okay, roll call.
Trustee Millet?
Aye.
Trustee Hassenberger?
Aye.
Trustee Benetti?
Aye.
Trustee Boatner?
Aye.
Trustee Meir?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, now we'll go to 5G.
So I will withdraw my pulling of that because my main issue was the rate, and we've all agreed on that. So we can just go ahead and I'll make a motion to approve 5G as written.
Second.
Okay, second by Mike. Discussion? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Hassenberger?
Aye.
Trustee Millet?
Aye.
Trustee Benetti?
Aye.
Trustee Boatner?
Aye.
Trustee Meir?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right, we'll move on. That's great. We'll move on to 6 staff reports. Police. We have Chief James Levand.
Thank you. I won't be here at the 16th meeting, so it's the reason I'm doing my staff report now. On the 16th, Detective Oberth gets promoted to sergeant, so Deputy Chief Blinko is going to fill in just to do his swearing in and then leave because Deputy Chief Blinko is not a big talker, so he'll handle the swearing in part, but then he'll be done, so there'll be no police report on the 16th. May report, 319 calls for service, 11 accidents, 117 citations, 16 arrests in May. Each year, the police department gets requests for an internship program, and it's something the police department hasn't done in the past. This year was no different. We had 5 different people reach out and say they were college students, they were pursuing different paths, and they were looking for an internship. So here tonight, Kara Romuto is in the audience. She started her internship about a month ago with the police department. She's going to continue until the beginning of August. So we're trying to give her all the real-life experience of Campton Hills here. So one of her tasks was to come sit in a board meeting, and I'm sure she's extremely excited because this morning she went to CaneCom and sat in the 911 dispatch center to see what that's like. So she's been a joy to be here. She is a local resident, so we hope she gets a lot out of the program, but she is the first intern that the department has had. So
Nice.
she gets to sit in and listen to the board meeting tonight. So last Tuesday on June 4th, the Campton Hills Police Department once again took part in the Safe 64 initiative. Happens each year. There was signage put out. We put it out in advance, like a week in advance. And we took part last year. This year, 13 agencies across 2 counties, DePage and Kane, took part in it. If you don't get the whole thing about it, Illinois does this on numerous roads. Route 59 has it. They do it on May 9th. Route 64, 64 is done every year, June 4th. So this year we took part in it. The initiative was extremely successful for us. We did it from 8 to 4. Officer Foote, Officer Adamschuk came in and did the enforcement efforts. We had 48 traffic citations, 12 warnings, and 2 traffic arrests during the initiative. So I'd like to thank both of them for coming in, doing the extra detail, and putting the extra enforcement efforts out there. The police department did once again receive the Let's Be body camera grant this year.
Yay.
So it was slightly over $20,000. I can't remember the exact number on it. So the check has already been issued to us, so Russ has that. It just had to be used for this current new budget year we're in. So we did get that second year in a row, so want to thank Christina. She put it together, submitted all the paperwork. We also applied last year, all the way in the beginning, I want to say it was March of last year. They have a Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Grant that comes out through the Office of Justice. It covers 50% of any bulletproof grant or bulletproof costs that an agency has for it. So it happened to be that time last year was when the federal government shut down, grants shut down. So I did not think we would get it. It wasn't a substantial amount of money, but we did get it. So they reimbursed us our 50% cost on the bulletproof. So it was $3,061.02. Now that has to be put to the previous budget because that is when it was applied for. So, and that does cover our half cost of what we spent on bulletproof grants or bulletproof expenses last year. So once again, I want to thank Christina. She put that together, so she did a good job on that. June 17th to 13th, this week is Law Enforcement Civilian Appreciation Week. And I, again, want to recognize Christina. So Christina does a lot for a part-time employee here. She does the administrative assistant stuff for me. She assists with the FOIA. She's certified in all our FOIA stuff, not to mention the grant writing and a bunch of other stuff. So since she is our only civilian police department employee, I just want to recognize her for all the work she does. June 4th, approximately 10 a.m., we were notified of a major gas leak in the area of Route 64 and LaFox Road. How the first 911 call came in was a utility worker ran into the Circle K gas station and advised everyone they were about to blow up. And that was literally how it came in. So that obviously caused a bunch of chaos, probably not the best way to relay the message. But utility crews have been working, as you know, on 64 east and west of LaFox. And one of the workers with a backhoe struck a major gas line out there. It was a big deal. Fox River Countryside Fire Department was obviously the main fire department that ran the scene out there. They got out there, confirmed the severity of the gas leak, struck an extra box. It was directly in front of Atlas Construction and Balmoral Restaurant. We immediately had to evacuate 50 businesses that were open in the immediate area, including all of Campton Crossing and Campton Square. The evacuations included Cadence Academy and EduCare, who were both full of children, including infants that were in both schools. The village of Campton Hills was evacuated because the wind that day was actually blowing northeast to southwest. So it was bad here. So everyone in this area got evacuated safely. There was a lot of people that assisted on this call. It was a 6-hour incident. Of course, Fox River Countryside Fire was the command, Alberta Countryside Fire, Bartlett Fire, South Elgin Fire, Kane County Sheriff's Office, Kane County Office Emergency Management, Hanover Township Emergency Services, and Kane County Department of Transportation. I want to thank everyone for their assistance. A big thank you to Kane County Office of Emergency Management, Hanover Township Emergency Services, and Kane County Sheriff's Office because they were instrumental in helping us with traffic control out there. I mean, we had to close Route 64 in all directions. We had to close LaFox Road. School was closed, side streets were closed, driveways were closed. It's a pretty big task to have when you have myself here working, who was not planning on going out on the street that day, and 2 other officers, Officer Patla and Foote, who did an excellent job. But it could not have been done without the assistance from everyone that took part in it. So it worked out good. The only thing we did get, not to mention we answered over 50 911 calls that came in from dispatch, primarily from the Fox Mill area, asking why we were not evacuating them. And the simple answer was, it was not needed. It was, again, the wind direction. They did a great job. We knew who was in the path of it. If it would have changed, we would obviously would have evacuated everyone that we needed to. But the more people you start evacuating, if it's not necessary, just causes bigger headaches and issues, It worked out great, so everyone was advised to shelter in place. And let's see here if that was it. I have one more little quick thing for you. So just on behalf of the officers, I want to thank the board on behalf of the officers. This has been in discussions and that. Obviously the COLA, the adjustment, it's all appreciated. But the last couple of years, the board has also gave a fund to me and the officers for bonuses. So those bonuses can be, performance-based bonuses to go directly to the officers. It could be used for a department appreciation event type of deal, which we have one for the Cougars coming up. So that means a lot to the officers. So I just want to say thanks for doing it. And I think that's it.
Okay. Mike?
First off, Chief, the graphic, the flip book is fantastic. Honestly, I mean, if you think about how we communicate with the public, that's easy. It's the same information we've seen pretty much the whole time, but it's in a way more digestible and aesthetically pleasing. It's fantastic, so let her know. Thanks for that. Gas leaks, I've had them in the past too, so it's just when you're standing next to it and it starts hissing and squealing. They actually squeal. That's the worst place to be. And is it Kara or Kara? Kara. So she's had the good of this meeting. Dispatch, learning I never want to do that. And I'm also noticing a good day at the range. That'll be fun. And then in the coroner, okay, I guess it's everything. But then helping with National Night Out. So thank you ahead of time.
Anybody else? All right.
Oh, sorry, one quick thing.
Yeah,
Now,
go ahead.
Trustee Millet's got me going. What I did think was completely insane about a gas leak, and I guess kudos to them, or maybe craziness to them, watching how NICOR handles this, and I'm not exaggerating, the special crew pulls up with no safety equipment, no masks, no, I'm not joking, no nothing.
God.
They get down in this hole that's dug where there's a major gas line, we can hear it, pouring out gas, and they repair it there, and then they climb back out like it was nothing.
I've seen them drive wooden plugs in the thing for temporary. The welding is usually like the limit. They won't quite do that when it's got gas in it, but they'll do everything else.
Well, thank you, Chief, and please thank all the officers from all of us up here. Yeah. All right, anything else? Okay, we'll move on to action items. Any action item? Nothing there? And we'll go on to discussion 8A, LaFox of Campton Hills redevelopment agreement. And we'll have Mark and I think Dave. Do you want to speak on that? Dave Patzelt with Shodine Corporation.
You moved his cheese.
Changing chairs, it's staff again. Carmen, do you want to lead us off on the IGA, and I'll do or the redevelopment agreement, and I'll do the IGA and KDOT.
There we go.
Right, over the last couple of weeks, we've continued progress with Mr. Patzelt and village consultant from SB Friedman regarding the terms of the redevelopment agreement. We've met with Dave and with his council and gone through several different iterations of additional language, talked about several issues, but we're getting a lot closer to a draft that we believe will be hopefully ready for the board to review and have some comments on and just fruitful discussion on. We do understand that with any project of this size, with this many moving parts, there is always the opportunity that at some point in the future that the agreement could be amended, especially when it comes time for approval of financing for the project that Shodine has to go through. That always brings another set or several sets of eyes onto a piece of paper, and we're required to respond to some requests for changes that can be out of both parties' control. So we'd like to get something to you very soon and to move the project forward, but it's been good discussions with Shodine and their attorney. And I think that Mark wants to give an update on the IGA with KDOT.
And, barring any unforeseen circumstance, Carmen has to put pen to paper, but actually type it in. We hope to have a document for your packet Friday afternoon on the IGA. And it's good that Carmen touched on that point, and I'm sure Dave can add to it. There's multitude of ways that a developer's note, he does his own personal financing as a corporation, or there's a debt instrument. So to write the agreement and have it fit for the various different forms of a bond instrument, that's why Carmen is saying there will be potentially, once a route is chosen and the seller of that note may require some adjustments in the language we used under the financing section. So we're just telling you that in advance. But I will not be around for that adjustment, so to assure you to the point we made earlier. And so you should be able to have a fruitful discussion in looking at the document a week from tonight. So that's the goal. The IGA with the county, I'd like to say we had a done deal, but they have put some things in the document that I just can't recommend to this board to pass, because they're asking us to confirm that we will do certain things as a village on land that hasn't been annexed yet, referring to how that land could have impacts onto Kesslinger or to Bunker Road. Of course, they want to have control of that, but they're asking us to confirm something when we haven't even annexed and we don't know what type of development is there. So we're asking for some revisions on that. They've tentatively, from last Friday's meeting with Scott Marcourt and I, agreed that they will make some revisions. I haven't seen those yet, and instead of us controlling the document, they have a state's attorney's lawyer they want to be in control. So the goal there, so everybody understands, is that the village would be reviewing it. They're going to take it to their transportation committee on 6/16. And then on 7/21, they'll take it for final approval of the transportation committee. And then on 8/11, they will pass it at the county board level. We've got some changes to do between now and then, and we've even requested some assistance from the county board member, Rick Williams, who's in this geographic area that the development will take place. So we're meeting with him to get some insight. And the staff at KDOT, Mike, knows that we're going to do that, so it won't come as a surprise to him.
Yeah,
So
Rick is chair of transportation. You might want to throw that in.
Yeah, Rick Williams,
Mhm.
yes.
Mhm.
So, and Ben Habither is the executive director at the Forest Preserve, was very concerned. He called me earlier, actually it was yesterday afternoon, about the timing to getting this done, and said that he could be of assistance with his contacts at the county board level to get us to a document that we can approve. And he said this is very typical of what happens at transportation, even to Forest Preserve properties. He goes, we're the county and they do it to us, so I imagine they'll be hard on you guys. So they're very concerned because they got $9.5 million dedicated in their referendum to purchase from Shodine Corporation after Shodine closes with Ryan. So they're very eager, as well as you all are, to move this forward so they don't lose that opportunity for the 450 acres of open space. So we've got a lot of people trying to help us get to done. And I got to say, the devil's always in the detail, and Carmen and Dave and his attorneys are working those last items out. Scott and I have had fruitful conversations with staff at KDOT, and we should give you that document in a draft form that we're still negotiating some terms. But it won't be anything that will make any of you very alarmed. It's more, inside baseball for folks like Scott Marcourt, HR and Green, and myself, because I just don't want to commit the village. And I had to ask him to change language because it made it sound like the village was going to endorse the Union Pacific to close LaFox Road to pedestrian and traffic upon the completion of Bunker. What I've always stated is I wouldn't recommend to the village board to spend money to fight the Union Pacific, but that's a far cry from saying I'm speaking for this board that we're going to endorse it. So they have to, things like that have to be changed. So it's not insurmountable, and it's moving along positively. And I can answer any questions.
All right, Therese, go ahead, you start.
I've got just one quick question for you. So just like in terms of us kind of knowing what our job will be and when we should be turning things around. So when we need the board to be looking at things, because it sounded like you said they were going to have for the intergovernmental agreement, there was going to be a transportation committee meeting or something at 6/16.
Yeah.
Should we have seen something and looked at it before then, or will we?
Yeah, you will get a document as a draft, the draft IGA that they're going to discuss. But staff at KDOT is going to say that the village has requested changes to this paragraph, They're going to kind of give an overview that we're mostly aligned, but we still have some details to work out. That's their presentation and Mike probably can tell you that first committee meeting is a broad overview, and the county board members of the transportation committee don't get into paragraph by paragraph like we do at the village level.
So we have a meeting on 6/16. That's like the next time we meet, though. So how are we giving you our input? Are we going to just send like emails? Or?
Well, I think until you approve the IGA, the county won't approve
Okay.
so that between 6/16 and then the 7/21 meeting, we will hopefully have
Okay.
tightened everything up to
So you-
as your liking, and that won't hinder their 6/16.
Okay.
Saying that broadly, they're working on an agreement with the village of Campton Hills and Shodine.
So you're not necessarily expecting anything from us before 6/16?
No, on
Okay.
6/16, you won't have to take any action.
Okay.
You're just going to start your final
Our final, like, we'll
review.
bring our comments to the meeting.
And we can then present those to staff, and they will
Okay.
present them as a final document on 7/21.
How about the timing on the RDA, when we get that? Do you have an
I-
idea of when you'd like us to?
I believe you'll get it on Friday, this week,
And then we should.
barring Carmen's availability.
Okay.
We've got meetings with the attorneys to work out some details still to get it to you. It's my expectation, but I always expect that the attorneys will agree, and they sometimes don't, because they get a voice over on the developer side of the equation.
So again, our first comments will be just on 6/16. We'll take a look at that on Friday.
Yeah.
Then my next question is for Mr. Petzelt. So, if you don't mind. So it's my understanding that you're waiting on the purchase of the actual purchase going through for this RDA. And we were just talking about how there's going to be sort of potentially multiple revisions. At what point will you feel comfortable with the RDA to actually then go through with the purchase of the land? How does the timing kind of work on this?
As village administrator, acting village administrator, or? Just want to make sure I get the title correct there. Our timing, we have several different hurdles that we need to get over to get to closing. The RDA and the IGA are both one of those, or two of those documents. There's some other items that we are working on, such as the IEPA response to wastewater treatment plant and water supply. We need to make sure that we may not get permits from them for those specific items, but we're certainly going to need what I'll call a warm fuzzy, or understanding that a permit from them is obtainable. So those are a couple of the significant hurdles that we need to get over.
And David, if you could just explain, we're not Mill Creek, you're
Yes.
Because I don't think everybody's understood that.
So we are, so it's clear, we are working with the Grand Prairie Sanitary District. The Grand Prairie Sanitary District Board has, I believe it's about has passed 3 or 4 resolutions that involve this project, and they've done that in the past month, 2 months. So they're working towards and being cooperative and working towards our applications and submittals that we've done to the IEPA. So there's really no issues there. It's just engineering time and getting the IEPA to review those various engineering documents. I just want to back up and say that it is our goal, or we as the developer, are pushing to make sure that you get the draft redevelopment agreement this week, so that hopefully next week, I'll be back here again with staff to have some fruitful discussion with you about specific paragraph, line items, questions that you may have. It is a lengthy document. There's a lot of lingo in there that everybody may not understand, so please make sure that we have the time to walk you through that collectively. And as Mr. Rooney indicated, the IGA, I too agree that the IGA needs some work in defense of, yes, I'm a developer and watching out for my own side, but as a teammate, and I see us all as a team that we just can't do this alone. We need everybody to work together. We were in our weekly staff meeting, and when I first got the copy of the IGA, my response, I believe, was to staff was, "Oh my gosh, we got a problem here," and that there's problems, meaning village-related issues, and not so much that just developer issues. So we are full court press to collectively, all of us, working together with trying to pull out all the stops, and as was indicated, getting the chair of the Transportation Committee and other county board members involved for the district to know that how important this is, and we've been working on it for over a year with KDOT, and most recently, KDOT made the comment, "What's the hurry?" And to us, that's unsatisfactory. So you have our, staff knows that our commitment is to get this done and get it before you, and I would say that there's no heated debates or arguments between us and staff about items in either of these agreements, but they need to be good, solid agreements for both yourselves and us as we work through the next 20 years of building this out.
One last follow-up?
Sure.
And I know this is going to be hard for you to kind of, guesstimate with so many moving parts, but do you have kind of an idea of when you think you might be actually in a position to purchase the land, or is there just too much kind of?
Our drop dead date is November.
Okay.
So it is between now and
And
November.
November.
And if
Okay.
it doesn't happen by November, it ain't happening.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Sure.
Okay.
So our goal is, though, so that you'll have these items for review and discussion next week. It really, July, besides July being my birthday, July is an important month for getting all these documents approved.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And the Forest Preserve wants to close with Mr. Patzell and Ken Shodine by
Yes,
Labor Day.
I would
So that's
imagine.
their
Okay,
goal.
So Forest Preserve is Labor Day. Got it.
Well, ideally.
Well, I know, I know
Yeah.
these are all just,
Yeah.
dates, but yeah, but
And-
it's good to know, yeah.
Okay, Frank.
So
Thank you.
Go ahead.
The November date was the drop dead date on the purchase?
That for closing,
For
correct?
closing?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then my other, I guess, request would be, since it sounds like they're lengthy documents that are coming, and we're getting them on Friday, and we're meeting on Tuesday, is there any way to get a summary, or maybe highlight areas that we should focus on?
Carmen and I will provide that. Dave's got some the high points. I'm sorry, take that back. We are working with SB Friedman, Jeff Dickinson, who you've seen at different meetings, he and I have been talking, and he and Carmen have been talking, and Jeff is putting together a presentation for Tuesday night to do that very thing, a summary, and I'll review it starting probably Thursday, and put it in your packet as a summary document that we'll give you an overview of the document.
Yeah, I don't want to speak
And
for
from,
everybody.
from a
but it'll
TIF
help me
compliance,
go
yes.
through it, so.
Yeah, so Jeff and I we're on draft 2 or 3 at this stage. So yes, Jeff, that's why we have SB Friedman, so they give you the high points and the areas that you need to be focused on. And Mr. Marcourt should be back on the 16th as well.
Okay, anybody else? Questions, discussion? Mike? No? Okay.
I would just add, President, as we've done with the annexation agreement, we will be more than willing to sit with Dave and myself, with 2 trustees at a time to go
Sure.
through the document at your convenience. And we'll just try to schedule that. And it can be after even the next Tuesday's meeting, because you're going to get the broad overview, and then you're going to think of more questions. So we don't have another meeting till after the 4th of July, so we will have opportunities to set those meetings up. And it can be two of you or one of you just meet with Dave and his development team, and/or meetings with myself and Jeff, or Jeff alone on a phone call, a Zoom call. We'll make it happen to get you the information so you're comfortable with it's a thick document.
All the details.
But after section 4, it's just the legal mumbo jumbo, as we used to say as managers. It's very important to the attorneys, but it's not the deal point. But it's important to the whole structure to have, you will not violate federal laws of EEOC, sexual harassment, and force majeure, many times is said in those last paragraphs. So, Trish, you'll care about the last 10 pages, but me not so much.
All right, anybody else? Discussion, questions? Okay, we'll move on. Additional items from the president, trustees, or attorney? Anybody? Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I was hoping to see on one of the next agendas, it's been 6-8 months since we agreed and we've had a code enforcement officer. I would like for the board to have the opportunity to kind of evaluate how that's going based on what our expectations were when we discussed having a code enforcement officer. Some items, and the list could be lengthier, that would make sense to have on a future agenda would be a job description, a payroll summary, how many hours, like what exactly is our investment in the code enforcement officer? Are there any dispositions or reports after the code enforcement officer is out engaging with the public? How does he disposition after? I think it would be beneficial to have all of that included.
Yeah.
Who do they report to currently, actively? Who do they report to? And if there's been any reviews. Has there been an employee review? That could be attached. I'm not sure if that's confidential or not, but I personally would like to see it if it's available. But if all of that could be put together for, as soon as possible on an agenda, if the board agrees that that would be something that would make sense to take some time here at a meeting to go through and evaluate. It's been 6-8 months. Let's make sure we like how things are going. If there's anything we want to change, it seems like a reasonable time to go through that and kind of see how the performance is and what exactly is going on there.
Yeah, I think I can provide that with talking to the Jim Brown and Mr. Morgan. We've actually, for the budget, we did have a kind of review of what activity there's been, and the payroll report's easy to run, and the job description is there. and he did report to the administrator, but recently we changed it to he reports to the planning and zoning officer, which is Mr. Brown. PZO, yeah, BZO.
And then are there any dispositions or reports on activity, or?
Yeah, so he's got a list of the activities and the ones that went to adjudication and the result of some of those. And then there's one case, I see an interested party in the audience that's very concerned with the parking lot that's behind the water tower that is going to end up probably, the owners of that parking lot are not compliant, and we're going to have to elevate that to county court action because the owners are refusing to even, after one attempt at adjudication, they didn't like how it was going, they stopped coming. So now they're going to get to go to the county. But not all the other cases, we get to adjudication, much like the police, and we come to good resolution and agreement, and they hold the fines in abeyance until the property has been rectified. So we've had very great success in working in conjunction, sometimes with the police department. They've all been resolved, other than a real problematic situation between the school and the water tower, you know, the property.
Is this the one by McDonald's?
You have to be recognized.
Sorry, I thought you recognized me when I
Oh.
looked over at you.
Oh,
Sorry, go
okay.
ahead.
You know what, I'm going to let Frank go
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
next.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I think Mark answered my question about the restructure, and so that's in effect at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so it's cleaner and more straightforward. Mr. Brown will do it, and the new administrator will review that situation and make his call. But I think we've restructured that to make clear with my departure that there'd be somebody supervising Mr. Morgan. And it makes more sense, because in truth, Tim Morgan would always review with Brown before any big enforcement action took place, because that was the agreement the three of us had in that. So he never, you know, just went out on his own without direction either from Brown or Rooney.
That's right.
And then, is there any update on Jim? as far
And
as his
well,
change?
the update would be, Mr. Brown is considering, his MGT contract ends at the end of June. And I was going to go to executive session if invited by the board to discuss. Mr. Brown is offering to come and become a part-time employee of the village at $75 an hour. I think I've spoke of that before. He agreed to do it, and then he backed out of doing it, and now he's confirmed he will work with this board at that rate. And I'd like to, you know, I was going to discuss that. As the president said, would I come to the executive session to explain that? But we could do it in the open. Yep, that was one of the issues.
Yeah. Therese, go ahead. You're good? Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, Chief.
Thanks. Just, so I don't know if you guys ever noticed our outside out here. It looks pretty sad, and it needs some new mulch. So I know our economic development or former administrator Rooney did some flowers, so I reached out to Wasco Nursery, and I said, hey, what would it cost? I mean, it's a lot of mulch. And he said, I'll deliver it for free. He says it's 20 cubic yards, I think. Probably looking at about $250, $300 to drop it all off. Officers have volunteered and VIPs to clean it up and put down the new mulch so it actually looks nice, because the one on the road here is a large area. But I want to make sure that the board is willing to spend that $250-ish in the mulch, and we'll do the labor, because it does not look very appealing.
And just so the board knows, we collectively talked about, what do we get for our how much do we pay again? 500 a month?
Something like that.
For our
Rent.
HOA?
Yeah.
It's like 20,
Yeah.
it's 22,000 a year for our HOA fees. So you would think we could get the trees that are dead on the entryway road into the
right.
center replaced, or at least removed. But I sent Morgan, because he is dogged at when they didn't return my call, and he said, Mr. Rooney, you're not going to like this. They said, you get nothing. We are not removing or responsible. So I think I was going to bring that up in the back room, but I was going to ask if you would let the attorney have to send them a strongly worded letter to follow about the amount of HOA fees that we pay, and you just don't get much service. Last year, we had a tree between us and the pub that was hit in a snowfall, and it was laying in the sidewalk in the road, and it took multiple calls and policemen to go get the HOA to even remove
It was like
that
six
obstruction.
months, I think.
So
Yeah.
I just think that we need to review that contract, because you're not getting anything for your $20,000 plus.
Do I have a consensus to spend the money for the mulch? Okay. All right. Anything else? No? All right. Let's see. I'll accept a motion to go into closed session for appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees or contractors.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Frank,
I'll second.
second by Kim. Kim, roll call.
Trustee Benetti?
Aye.
Trustee Muir?
Aye.
Trustee Boatner?
Aye.
Trustee Hafsenberger?
Aye.
Trustee Millet?
Aye.
Okay, and I'd like to invite Mark Rooney into closed session, and we will not be taking action after